This is a page in your packet. We're going to use it as our notes, and we're going to talk a lot about it. First off, this is from the Georgia Department of Education. We're actually going to skip problem 5 for this particular test, but we will see it again later on in the next test. So I want to talk about formulas. This is something that students just struggle with in general, so we really need to work on it. So first off, when you're reading through here, the formula is the one that you can see here. Volume equals length times width, and then it says times height, but it's on the next line. I would like to keep it all in one line, so I'm just going to move the times h right up here. So I would like to highlight, this is our formula. This is what the formula is. It's going to tell us what to do. For this particular example, it's finding the volume of a rectangular prism. And so L stands for your length of the prism, and then W is your width, and then H is your height. They're asking what is the volume with the prism, and we're going to just do A together. So what do I need to do with if my length's 33 and my width's 47 and my height's 15? You need to plug in these three things into the formula. So what's the formula telling us to do? First off, I want you to rewrite the formula. Volume equals L times W times H. And I chose to use the dot instead of the X just because I already am using letters here. So I need to plug in numbers for each one of these, and I need to multiply them because that's what the formula says to do. I have a length of 33, and my width is 47, and my height is 15. And in order to find the volume, I would multiply those three together, and I could use my calculator to plug those in. 33 times 47 times 15, and that gives me, I don't know if you can see that, 23,265. So 23,265. And I don't really have like inches or anything, so I would just label this units, and I need to label it cubed because it is volume. So what I want to go over is this is your formula, and these are your numbers you need to plug in, and you just plug them into the formula and you solve it and you multiply because that's what the formula says to do. So that was problem 6. I'm going to do a little wavy line here. We're going to go on to problem 7. We're going to look at its formula. Formula for finding volume of a prism. Volume equals capital B times H. And if you remember this formula, which we're going to talk about again, is the area of the base times the height. That's why this is a capital B. The area of the base times the height. Why am I multiplying them? Because they're right next to each other. You don't add them, you multiply them. It's implied. There's not a multiplication sign, but it's implied. So that's what the formula says. So if I want to solve A, it says, what if the area of the base is 16 centimeters and the height is 2.4 centimeters? How would I solve it? What am I supposed to do with these numbers? You need to look at the formula. The formula says volume equals area of the base times the height. How do I know that means times? It's implied. So I need to put in my area of the base and multiply it by my height because that's what the formula says to do. If that formula says the area of the base plus the height, then I would add the two numbers together, but this means multiply. So 16 is the area of the base, and I would times it by 2.4 on my calculator. And 16 times 2.4, and that gives me 38.4. So I'm going to write that in. 38.4, and this one was centimeters, so I actually have a label here, centimeters. It was volume. We label volume cubed, and there's your answer there. So what was different with this problem instead of this one? Length times width times height. Well, if you multiply the length times the width, that's actually how you get the area of the base. So it's like they had already multiplied length times width and given you one number, 16, and then the height was just 2.4. That capital B, what are we reading? The capital B stands for the area of the base. We'll remember that by already taking length times width to get the area of the base. That's the only one you notice capitalized here. Volume, that's what you're trying to find, so it's capitalized there, but most of the time you'll see lowercase numbers like you do up, or not lowercase letters like you do up there. The next one I'd like to try is number 8, and I'd like to do letter A with you on number 8. The formula for finding volume of a cube is volume equals S cubed, where S is equal to the length of one side of the cube, and they were wanting to know what is the volume if your cube has a side length of 1/2 inches. And so we talked about this formula. Well, what do we know about a cube? Most people know a cube that all sides are the same, right? So they're saying take your side and cube it. In other words, that means side times side times side. So what if your side length, or your S, is equal to 1/2 inches? Well, your formula for volume of a cube says to take that side length and cube it. So you would have to take 1/2 for your S, and you would have to cube 1/2, which is going to equal 1/8 inch cubed. And remember, that's not 1/2 times 3, that's 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2. And so volume again is cubed, and that's how you would label that. Why are we cubing it? Because that's what the formula says to do. We'll go ahead and do another example of a different formula. What if the formula for finding the surface area of a cube is area equals 6 next to an S, which means times, so 6 times the S squared, where S is again the length of one side of our cube. And what do we know about a cube? All sides are the same. So they want to know what is the surface area of a cube if the side length is 1/2 inches. Well, surface area is a different formula. So here's our formula. We need to highlight that, and then we need to plug in our numbers for those particular letters. In order to find the area, surface area, you take 6. I'm going to write it as times S squared. And if you remember here, we got to take 6 times instead of S. Now we're going to say, what if our S was 1/2? So you got to put 1/2 and square it. If you plug this in on your calculator and you go 6 times 1/2 squared, your calculator will solve it in the correct order for you. If you try to solve it paper pencil, you need to remember to do the 1/2 squared first and then take that times 6, because you do exponents first before multiplication. When we use PEMDAS, your exponent comes first and then you multiply by 6. Some people will try to take 6 times 1/2 and then square their entire answer, and that is not correct. But if you make sure that you're squaring the 1/2 and timesing it by 6. So if you type it in 6 times and you do the 1 fraction bar half, and then let's see, you square, oopsie, I'm underneath of here, I gotta get out of that. Let me go delete, I gotta go over and I gotta press caret up. So I wanna square the 1/2. Let's see if that works. So I get 3/2, which is improper, so I have to hit second times the 10 button. Are you sure you want to change it to a mixed number? 1 and 1/2. This one might have been easier to solve paper pencil. 1/2 squared would have been the same thing as saying 1/2 times 1/2, which is actually 1/4. Timesing it by 6/1. You could get 6/4, and dividing 6 divided by 4, you would have gotten 1, and then you would have had 2/4, and 1 and 2/4 simplifies all the way down to 1 and 1/2. And this one they gave us inches, so we want to label it inches squared because it's area. Had I just plugged that in, 6 times 1/2 squared, I get the same answer way over here. 1 and 1/2 inches squared. So later on we'll review this. We'll review how your formulas work and how you plug in numbers into them to solve them, and you'll work on part B and C.